year, I work at an incredible clinic in Blanchard, Haiti. And it's something that I absolutely love and look forward to. And one of the best things about working at this clinic is the people who I get to work with. So one day, Isabel, one of our lab technicians, mentioned that she was dying to go to nursing school, but couldn't afford the tuition to get there. And in talking to some more amazing people we work with, we realized that they also had dreams of continuing their own medical educations and couldn't do so due to cost alone. And so this idea started swirling around that maybe we could cover their scholarships. And I got really, really amped on this because I'm a student myself and planning on going to medical school. And this idea was really planted. But before I dive in, I want to tell you a bit about what this talk is about. And it's about how we were able to use rejection to get these scholarships and make it happen. And I hope by the end of it, you think the same way about rejection like I do, and that it's a great thing and something that we maybe could seek out more. And I know you think I'm crazy, but it's okay. So I want to tell you first a bit about where I come from. This is a mini version of my sister and me, and I'm the tall one. And we look cute in this picture, but we were definitely causing a ruckus in our neighborhood constantly. We were surfing and skating and jumping off the highest things we could find just for fun. And it was a blast. But my parents always taught us something that stays with me to this day, and that is that our ideas matter and the importance of asking for the things that we want. So this idea that our ideas really matter stuck with me, and it led to this exploration, and life was always like an experiment, and I became obsessed with how to get the most out of it. And I guess the jumping thing never really stopped. So this is me on my 18th birthday, and I've been jumping in one way or another ever since. It's the best feeling in the world, and I highly recommend everybody go jump out of a plane. But this feeling is wonderful, but standing on the edge at 15,000 feet, every instinct in your body, thanks to millennia of evolution, is screaming at you, "You idiot, get back in the plane!" We are way too high up. And in order to have some fun, you have to silence all of that commotion and jump anyways, right? All of that negativity and things in our heads that tell us that we can't do it. It's what Seth Godin calls the lizard brain, and what Stephen Pressfield calls the resistance. Everything that's telling you no, you have to reject it and jump anyways. Deep breath, let go, free fall. So this is the rejection that we're all familiar with, right? The rejection of the opposition in our own minds. But what about rejection coming from outside of ourselves? Well, that type of rejection sucks. And it's been deeply ingrained in us to avoid it, right? Early on, we're taught that we would be publicly rejected if we raised our hands with a dumb question or the wrong answer, and so we learn to hold our tongues. We stand silently in public spaces, absorbed in our phones, and not interacting with the people around us. And we launch lesser versions of our ideas, or maybe we don't put them out there at all because we're terrified of being made fun of or getting a no along the way. And this idea is really stopping us from being a true expression of ourselves, right? Because we start to sand down our edges to fit instead of sanding out. But I think the biggest part of this problem, and where the fun really starts, is that we start to lump failure and rejection together, like this amorphous, huge, sucky, horrific blob. And this idea that rejection equals failure, it's tearing us apart, and it's stopping us from doing work that really matters. So in this room of innovators, initiators, and people working on the stuff that really does matter, I think it's time to rethink rejection. Rejection is a tool, it's a teacher, and if we seek it out and fail fast, it can bring some magic along with it. So quick story. When it came time for me to go to college, I had a shiny letter in my hand that said, "Welcome, you start this fall." And I was so stoked. I was beyond excited, right? Because I had been doing this crazy dance that we all do in 12th grade with our mailboxes. where we look for the thin little letter and we never want to get that one, or we look for the fat envelope and we're so happy when we get that fat envelope that says, yeah, you're in. And so I finally had my thick envelope and I was in. But at the same time, I started hearing about the Grameen Bank and microfinance and rural entrepreneurship. And now that is something that I really believe in. That's something that really lights me up. And to be honest, I just wanted to drop everything and go learn more about that. But I was at a serious crossroads, right? One path was definitely something that everyone around me expected. And one was a little bit unsure and uncomfortable. One was safe, and the other was kind of out of nowhere. So, true to form, I guess, a few emails later, I jumped, and I was officially unbooked from college and booked onto a flight to Uttar Pradesh, India. Now all I had to do was tell my parents. Yeah, sorry, Mom and Dad. So we sat down at the kitchen table, and I was like, oh gosh, how am I going to do this? I don't know what I'm going to say. So I did what any 17-year-old would do in a bad situation. I just blurted it out and hoped for the best. I'm not going to college, I'm going to India. Oh. And then I looked at them, and they were blank-faced, and then there were tears, and then there were face palms. And I'm pretty sure they both sprouted about 20 new gray hairs. But then something weird happened. They looked at me and said, okay, we know you want to make this happen, so let's do this. And I'm forever grateful for that, right? But, thanks. But other people in my life didn't quite have the same reaction, and I say that kind of lightly. But my plans, in essence, were being completely rejected. I lost friends who took my change of path as an attack on their own choices, and I was called crazy. But what happened in India completely changed my life. It was a game changer. Instead of working on microfinance, I happened to instead work on rural health logistics models, and it ended up bouncing along in a white van with a red cross painted on its side, visiting village to village, and it was with an incredible physician. And not only was this where I first fell in love with medicine, which I would have never thought I would do ever in my life, but it's also where I saw the power and impact that one woman with one idea can have. And her idea was that people around the world, no matter where they live, should have access to healthcare and access to a physician. And she was going to make that happen. And people all around her told her no. They told her it's impossible, and there were naysayers coming from left and right everywhere. But she made it happen. She had an idea, and she jumped. So when I got back from India, I started my science classes, I got done, and now I'm pre-med at UCLA. But thanks. But I ended up working in Haiti with another incredible physician who's actually in this room. But what happened in India after I got back, I was fired up and ready to start this campaign because we were going to get full-ride nursing school scholarships for my friends in Blanchard. So things were going amazingly well at first. Friends and family rallied around the cause. I had an incredible team of fundraisers, all dedicated to making sure that this thing happened. But about halfway through, things were stalling. Donations stopped trickling in, and late one night, feeling discouraged and stuck, I was reading Sasha Dichter's blog, and I had this ridiculous idea. What would I need to do to get rejected 100 times in 7 days pitching this project? Yeah, here we go. And I figured it would at least mean putting myself out there and opening myself up to rejection to 100 new people. And that was a step in the right direction to just reach out to 100 new people. And so I went for it. Deep breath, let go, free fall. So this change in rejection shifted everything. And just 2 days after this crazy quest for rejection started, the campaign was fully funded. So something was happening here with this reframe of rejection. I mean, every no still stung for sure. I mean, if no's left a mark, I'd be a walking welt at this point. But rejection stopped being so damn scary, and it instead became a numbers game. The more times I opened myself up to rejection, the more incredible things started coming my way. My skin got thicker, my pitches got stellar from getting instant feedback so many times, and despite what you might think that many rejections would do to a person, my confidence soared. And so because this thing happened in 2 days, I was like, wow, I really need to keep getting rejected, right? So I decided to do this experiment for the full week. And that is where the really fun stuff started to go down, because I shifted gears and started seeking out rejection in any way that I could think of that would be great in the off chance that somebody actually said yes to me. So this is where the fun stuff happened, like I said. So I got to meet heroes that I now call friends. I got to go to events that I could only dreamed of. And we surpassed the fundraising goal by thousands of dollars. So this worked. So I guess my suggestion is to inoculate yourself against this fear of rejection, because we need you to care enough about your idea to push past that fear and that discomfort of a no, because no's are just part of the game, right? No's are what needs to happen when you're creating something on a larger scale. And that's okay, and we need to be okay with that. And I think that we should actually seek that out, because that's how amazing things start to happen, right? So go for it. Go get rejected. And in the words of a great friend, go make something happen. Oh, and rejection is not as scary as regret. That was the best thing I ever said. So go for it.